Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? Did everybody get enough sleep last night? I know we were up late drinking, so I just want to make sure that the room is awake. Everybody's awake today. Show of hands, who's having a good time? And just so I know, who is local? Who lives in Split? Okay, fair amount of you. So my name is PJ Leimgruber. I flew all the way from California to talk to you guys today. So thank you. I didn't actually measure on a map, but I might have come the farthest. So hopefully you find value in my talk today. So I'll introduce myself and then I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today. So I am the marketing lead for a project based in Ethereum called District 0x, where we build a really cool software for building decentralized marketplaces that I'm going to talk to you a little bit about. I also advise a decentralized video platform called Viewly, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the talks are going to be live on Viewly after the conference, right, to download and view. So, yeah, a lot of applause. I really like that. Outside of, right, exactly, who needs YouTube? So outside of the crypto world, I have a regular job too, and I'm a professor at the University of Southern California, and I teach marketing. So before I got involved in this crazy world, I started a marketing startup called NeoReach. It's an influencer marketing SaaS software for Fortune 500 companies. So basically, we compile all this cool information about audience demographics from Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all these platforms, and we combine it together and make it sortable and searchable, kind of like a human index for social media influencers. And we raised a few $1 million from some VCs in Silicon Valley, and we've been running since 2014. The company's going great. I'm president of the board of directors. But my passion is in crypto. My passion is in blockchain, so I had to take a step back from the digital marketing world and cross over to the dark side. So currently I am living in Santa Monica, California. So let me talk to you a little bit about District 0x. So District 0x is a collective of decentralized marketplaces and communities as smart contracts deployed on the Ethereum network. So we are building a network of communities and organizations which allow for decentralized governance to flourish. So the easiest way to think about it is you know of a marketplace like Airbnb or Uber or Craigslist or something very simple. We build the tools, kind of like the way WordPress helps you build websites. We build the tools that help you launch those marketplaces on the Ethereum network, and through our software called DocsInfra, D0x Infra, you'll be able to deploy these networks without having to know how to maybe create a smart contract or how to code in Solidity. You really just have to be responsible for building the front end, the user experience, the stuff that most developers know how to do, and then the difficult crypto stuff is kind of handled by our software tools. And the goal is to create a functioning autonomous economy of autonomous service providers. And really we want the people that, our vision is that if you use a network, you should be able to govern it, you should be able to extract fees from it, you should be able to monetize it as a way you see fit. And we want to cut out that middleman, that rent seeker, those unnecessary fees. So that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. So let me give you a history of the project, and then we'll move on. So before District 0x, our co-founder Mattis developed a decentralized job board. It was one of the first dApps on the Ethereum mainnet called ETHLance. And ETHLance allowed freelancers to find opportunities for jobs. It allowed companies to find freelancers, and it was mainly centered around Ethereum-based projects, but I've seen other things on ETHLance, like graphic design and things like that, kind of similar to like a Fiverr. And it actually works. It works pretty well. So Joe, the other founder of District 0x, approached Mattis and basically had this idea and said, the technology that powers ETHLance, we can kind of copy and paste this to other decentralized marketplaces, and let's create a couple marketplaces ourselves, and then the technology that we build to launch that, let's turn over to the community as our open source initiative, and then let anybody create a decentralized marketplace. And that was kind of the vision of District 0x, and that's how we got started. So today, we have 8 full-time on the team, and we have a handful of contractors and developers. We're based all over, so the core of our operations is in San Francisco, and I'm in LA, and we have some development in Italy and in Belgium and Thailand. So we operate as a true decentralized autonomous organization because we're based all over the globe. We've got approximately 30,000 token holders. We completed our contribution period back in July of 2018. At that time, we raised about $9 million, which was, I think, a little underwhelming given the timing. But obviously today, it's giving us plenty of revenue to power our development. We have over 55,000 followers on Twitter, 7,000 on Reddit. And our progress is we actually have 2 districts that are live and functioning on the main net. So we actually put out real working code that people use, and I'll talk a little bit about those as we go on. So what we're building, with each development, we are progressively building on something that we call DocsInfra. That's our open source toolkit. And it's powered by Ethereum smart contracts. We integrate with Aragon for governance. Has anybody ever heard of Aragon? Yeah, so they're launching very, very soon. And we're all hosted on the distributed file system known as IPFS, or the Interplanetary File System. So to encourage innovation, we build network effects around the networks that are launched on District 0x with a suite of like ancillary services or different plugins that you can use to customize your marketplace. And obviously, we want to allow for open participation and open governance in the markets. So let's look at some of these that we're working on. So I mentioned ETHLance to you. It has the core functionality of being able to search, filter, post, and list, and ranking and reputation. So if you think about all of the things that you would need to build a decentralized marketplace, there's a couple of core functionalities that you want to have. So ETHLance lets you search a database of people, filter them. You can leave feedback. It's like a rating and review system, and that functionality can be used in other marketplaces. So it's part of the D0x infra. Our next marketplace is NameBazaar. And NameBazaar is a buying and selling marketplace for ENS names or .eth names. Does anybody have a .eth or .eth name? Cool. So the thought there, and Nick Johnson from ENS has kind of made some updates, but the original thought, or at least the original hope, was that this was going to be the new .io or the new .com boom, and people were going to register these .eth names and sit on them, and they would create a marketplace. And that's happening a little bit. So NameBazaar facilitates the buying and selling and transferring of those ENS names. So the component to D0x infra there is the actual buying and selling mechanism, the whole auction, how you can put up an auction, there's bids that expires after a certain time. And then finally, the last portion of the D0x infra that our team is building is on our new district that's coming out called Meme Factory. And it's curation functions, community functions, and it's going to be what's called a token curated registry, which we're going to learn a little bit more about today. And essentially, we're going to create a network of memes, and there's a lot of memes in the crypto world and not in the crypto world. So we're going to tokenize these memes and put them on the blockchain, and they'll eventually be a big meme database for you guys to use and interact with. So in a nutshell, we're not only building a collection of marketplaces, but we're building the open source tools so anyone can create, launch, and govern their own marketplace. Where like the App Store, the Android App Store, the Apple App Store, or the Android market, plus a toolkit to build and launch your own app. So it's like if you could go to the iPhone, you can go on your iPhone and download an app. In theory, you can go to our App Store, use one of our apps, or you can just download our toolkit and build your own and launch it right there. And then the goal is that anything that's under the District 0x network we'll share with our community, and then we'll help with the marketing, and we'll kind of help promote, and we want to create this community of decentralized marketplaces that promote one another and kind of exist under they're independent, but they exist under one brand, and we can use that network effects to help each other. So let's understand about what a centralized versus a decentralized marketplace is and why it's really exciting. We hear the term decentralized a lot, and I think most of us in here probably understand what it is, but let me break it down in a way that I think is pretty simple. So centralized are controlled by large corporations and companies. They collect fees for providing a service. They collect data on their users, and then they have a responsibility when they collect data, and that's to keep that data safe and not let that data get hacked and not let that data get into the hands of bad actors. And as you've seen in the news recently, especially in the United States, we haven't done a good job of that. Some information has been getting leaked. Equifax got hacked. So that's a big problem with centralized companies, is that they collect data and they're irresponsible with how they store it. They have the ability to restrict or ban users, and they can restrict or ban activity at their sole discretion. And generally, customers have no say in any operations of the business. So an example of a marketplace is Uber, okay? Uber collects money from the drivers, and they collect money from the riders, and they make rules, and they can kick drivers off their platform, and they can kick riders off their platform. But at the end of the day, wouldn't it be cooler if Uber was decentralized? And let's look at how that would look. So if Uber was decentralized, the riders and the drivers could vote on the rules of the platform. They could vote on if any fees are collected. All the information about the riders and the drivers and everything would be stored it would be encrypted and stored on a blockchain, so it would be publicly viewable, but encrypted, and it couldn't be stolen. It wouldn't be on anybody's server or database. The users and the riders could propose changes to the operating structure, and they can vote and govern the network. That'd be pretty neat. Communities would be open and extendable, meaning that partnerships are easy to facilitate. Blockchain-based, so they can operate globally, and users can interact with one another, retain privacy, and control their own data. And that's neat. And that, to me, is one of the things that's gotten me really excited about blockchain. So an example of that would be let's say Uber and Airbnb are two centralized marketplaces that exist independently of one another. But let's just say they were decentralized. We as users that use Airbnb and the same users that use Uber could vote and say, we're going to create a new transaction system that when I land at the airport, an Uber is going to pick me up. It's going to take me to my Airbnb. It's going to give me the key to my Airbnb, and it's going to release the payment to the driver, and it's going to release the payment to the Airbnb host in one transaction. If we wanted to make that happen today, there'd have to be a board meeting between Uber and a board meeting between Airbnb, and they'd have to get together and make some corporate agreement and do a press release and make an announcement, and it would be quite difficult. There'd be profits and revenue sharing, but in the open source community, if we wanted to make this initiative, we could just propose it, vote it, and make it happen. And we can make things progress a lot faster. We can encourage faster innovation. If we, the users, wanted it to happen, all we got to do is make it happen. And that, to me, is pretty exciting. So District 0x is a collection of decentralized marketplaces known as districts. And a district are the actual marketplaces themselves. And like I said, for something to be a district, for at least in the network that we're building, it has four functionalities: posting and listing, searching and filtering, ranking and reputation, payments and invoicing. I apologize, the color is teal on my slides, but the projector renders it like green, brown. It looks kind of ugly, it's hard to see. So by way of our token, the DNT token, we've created a utility which provides a unit of account of representation or a vote share in a marketplace's entity. So token holders can stake any amount of their tokens into a district in order to receive governance rights and can vote to make proposed changes. This is called a staking interface. So you have DNT token, and you want to make a change to the bylaw, or you want to make some sort of vote. You stake your token to that particular district, and then you have voting rights. And the more tokens you have, the more voting rights you have. If it were voted that fees were to be collected from a network, in this case, Ethereum and ERC20 tokens, the fees can accumulate to a public pool, and disbursement of those fees can be dictated by a user-governed smart contract. So in short, users can vote on how, when, where fees are used, and this could be for development, for growth, for marketing. It gives motivation and incentives for users to participate in the governance of the networks that they use. So in the decentralized Uber model, we would vote for to say, let's collect some fees from our users, and let's collect some fees from our drivers, and let's use those fees so we can hire a developer, and we can hire a marketing team, and and we can. But we would decide. We as users would decide how that money is spent. A core component of District 0x is our integration with Aragon. So Aragon is a governance layer that actually enables the users to stake DNT into the districts. So people will stake DNT in various governance models. This is to be determined by the networks, but it could be a stake-weighted governance model, meritocracy or reputation hybrids, a futarchy, liquid democracy, or delegate-style governance. And examples of things that potentially people could govern or control would be monetization, user experience design, governance structure, bylaws, what plugins or auxiliary modules are used, how fees are utilized, any sort of reputation or ranking systems, and then, of course, the development roadmap and what that's going to look like. So the question is that how can you get involved and participate in the District 0 network right now? And we're ready for you to help us, and we're ready for you guys to participate right now. So let me show you. You, right now, can submit a district proposal to our GitHub, and we, our development team, will build it for you. So all you have to do is think about something that would be a cool idea for a district and tell us, and our community will vote on it. So this is how it works. We are giving away DNT, our token. If you submit a proposal that adheres to our description, so you can see you want to provide a name of your district, a purpose, and a description. By simply submitting a district proposal successfully, you receive 250 DNT, which is admittedly not a lot of money. I think DNT is probably about maybe 10 cents right now, so it's $25, but it's something. And then if we actually decide to launch your proposal, it will be deployed as a district on the District 0x network, and then you will receive 500,000 DNT just for us doing that. And the way that we decide which districts we're going to build is there's a voting implementation. So you can, if you own DNT now, you can stake it, and you can vote for which district we should vote next. We have about 140 or 160 district proposals on there, and you can certainly participate by creating one. Every Tuesday, we do a live stream on Mixer called the District Digest, and we talk about the best district proposals, and we invite the people that create them on there to join our live stream and our podcast to talk about it. And we also have a lot of really cool founders in the Ethereum space come on and talk about their projects. We had the founder of CryptoKitties and the founder of Spank Chain and the creator of ENS, and we've had some really cool guests recently. And we do one stream a week, and sometimes we even do more streams, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's hosted by our community manager, Brady, and we broadcast at Twitch and Twitter and Facebook Live and YouTube, and we get a few thousand views every week, so it's a pretty cool, pretty active stream. If you want to join our community, you can read our white paper, check out our introduction video, subscribe to email updates, follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram, our Reddit, all the basic channels. And so I got about 8 minutes left. So the last thing I want to talk to you about, this was hit earlier a little bit on one of our previous talks, is on token curated registries. Who's heard the term token curated registries, or TCR? It's cool. I see a couple hands there. So let me explain to you in really simple terms what that is and why I think it's a cool use of a token model. So it's a game. It's an incentivized game that's played through token curated registry system to include reputable actors and exclude bad people from a decentralized list. So it allows for what's called wisdom of the crowd. So it allows for people to curate their own lists, and it allows for it allows for participation and incentivize people to keep the list good and to keep the bad people off the list. So let's look. So let's look at how this works. So, actually, I'll come back to this slide. Let's imagine a list like that we would find on Yelp or a TripAdvisor or somewhere called the best restaurants in Split, Croatia. Customers in Croatia search for this list when they're looking for the best places to go out to dinner. Candidates, in this case, the restaurants in Split that think they are the best, they want to be a part of this list. So this list is a famous list, and only the best restaurants are on there. If the food's not good, if the service isn't good, if the food isn't top quality, it doesn't make the list. So naturally, all the restaurant owners say, well, if we want to get business to our restaurant, we want to join this list. We want to be included in this TCR. So the list token holders who own tokens in the best restaurants in Split list, they want their tokens to increase in value because they want inclusion on this list to be seen as important. They want people to desire that. So in this hypothetical restaurant example, let's call it Tommy's Tacos, wants to be listed in the best restaurants in Split TCR. It needs to apply to the token curated registry by making a deposit in the TCR token. If the majority of the people that already own this token agree to accept Tommy's token into the registry, then they can choose to do so. Now, this is the interesting part. So Tommy's Tacos comes around and they say we want to join the registry. They have to buy the token and stake it into the registry and put it there and say we're willing to pay this fee because we want to join this list. Now, somebody that has the token that manages the list, a user like you and me, can say, I've eaten at Tommy Tacos and it sucks. The food is terrible, and I don't think it deserves to be on this list. So I'm going to match that deposit, and I'm going to issue what's called a challenge. And then a challenge is issued. Battle time, right? So then we do a vote. All the users that hold this token for the best restaurants in Split vote. And they vote on whether that the restaurant should be included or shouldn't be included. And guess what? If it's voted that it should not be included, the deposit is forfeited and split as revenue amongst everybody that helped vote. If it's voted that it should be included, the person that issued the challenge, their deposit is forfeited and split amongst everybody that voted. So you actually get incentivized in token to vote and govern the list, and that's pretty neat. So in this idealized scenario, customers searching for the best restaurants in Split, Croatia can now enjoy a wisdom of the crowd driven, economically incentivized final product that isn't owned or managed by a single party. The people, the token holders, manage it together. I'll get to your question in a second. So theoretically, a TCR should be more accurate than a traditional list because people are willing to stake economic value for an entry they strongly believe on the list. So if you want to read more about it, we have a blog post about it. How am I doing on time? 5 minutes. Okay, good. So there's an example of this on the mainnet called the Ad Chain Registry. And essentially the goal of the Ad Chain Registry is to provide advertisers with a list of websites that offer high quality inventory for digital ads. So people like me that come from the digital marketing world that have bought and sold digital ads before, something like this is really, really important because I can now come to this registry and know that where there's quality traffic and where there's not quality traffic. And this is already live on the mainnet. And it works essentially like this. A site comes, they stake ad token, they apply to the registry. A safety vendor, somebody that holds the token, can issue a challenge, and then it goes into a vote on whether or not that ad network should be included into the network or not. We're building one. District 0x is building one. So Meme Factory, our next district, is going to be a TCR. You can submit a meme to be included into the Meme Factory network, and if the meme sucks and it's unfunny, then people can challenge it and kick it off of the network. And the goal is that we're going to create a collection of the best memes on the internet in our Meme Factory. And then eventually we'll also have the district registry as well. So when people want to build a decentralized marketplace and add it to the District 0x network, if it sucks, the DNT holders are going to be able to kick it out. And if it's awesome, they're going to be able to vote it in. So that's it. I wanted to leave time for questions. Please follow me on Twitter. My handle is Mr. Peej. My email, if you have any questions after, is pj@district0x.io. or you can also follow District 0x on Twitter at District 0x. And now I will take questions on decentralized marketplaces or TCRs or anything else that you want to know or you want to ask me. Thank you, guys. Yes. Microphone coming.
So there is a chance to ask questions. So don't have to run out. First one would be related to your examples with the restaurants. So what if on the list, so the one that curated this list, so if there are other restaurants, there are competitors to the one that wants to be included to the list. So there's a conflict of interest because these existing list curators, maybe they would be downloading the chances for this restaurant.
That's a great question. So the question is like, there's an incentive to downvote every restaurant so you can collect a deposit and make money off of it. Well, then the list is going to be shitty. And this is open source. So then somebody can create the better list of restaurants and Split. And eventually the goal is that when you maintain and govern something properly, there's desire to get in. And an easy way to think about this is universities, colleges, right? If colleges accepted every single applicant that came to their college, people wouldn't desire to go there anymore. So the reason why colleges have a low acceptance rate is because they're choosy about who they let in. And TCRs is the same concept. You want to be choosy about who you let in so people trust and value the list. If it's a shit list, if the list gets a reputation that, oh, if I apply, they're going to steal my deposit, then people are going to stop trying to apply to the list. On the contrary, if anybody that applies gets in, then what makes this list special? So so it's the job of the people that participate and use the list to play gatekeeper and say we only want we want to work to create the best list because it's the ultimate manifestation of their hard work is that we've actually built something that people want to be included in and is true and accurate for representing, like in this case, the best restaurants in Split. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. That's a very, very common question. Follow-up question?
There's another project called 0x protocol.
Yes.
Is there any similarity?
So 0x is like the first two letters of the hash in cryptography, and it's used in the first two letters of Ethereum. So then our name came from a collection of markets built on Ethereum, so built with the 0x, those two letters. So we're a collection of Ethereum marketplaces, so a collection of 0x. That's where the name came from. 0x is a protocol. They're building a decentralized exchange called Radar Relay, an exchange relayer, and an API for the interoperability of tokens. It's actually different. We're actually very close friends with the founders, and we actually do plan to integrate with 0x in the future to District 0x, but there's not an actual partnership there. We just both affectionately use the 0x name in our names, and but that is a common point of misconception. But we are certainly friends with those guys, and we love the 0x project, and they're to me one of the best projects in the Ethereum space. Absolutely. Any other questions? Good, okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. I think we have lunch next, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking so you guys can go eat. Thank you very, very much.